This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody in the podcast world? This is a Cincy fan talking with LP, and of course, this is LP. Appreciate y'all stopping past and listening to the podcast. Definitely appreciate it. You know what we're gonna jump into? Got to talk about my Bengals. Getting super duper close to getting the W for us, but just not being able to pull it out. So my plan is to kind of let you know the breakdown of not really what happened. We'll get into that, but we're gonna kind of get into the breakdown of how the entire house felt while the game was going on, and we're gonna kind of use that to talk about how the game went. And we also gonna talk about we're gonna jump into a little bit of a review. I'm gonna start reviewing some things and kind of letting y'all know if you should stream it or not. And the first one we're gonna do is Bel Air. We're gonna talk about Bel Air. You know, that new I want to call it a spinoff, but I really can't. Like we'll jump into that in a little bit because I got some thoughts on that, and I'll let you know if you need to stream it or if you don't need to stream it. So hey, it's still Who Day all day, y'all. I was all on Twitter, spazzing out, excited, and super sad at the end. And I mean, if you don't know, like if you're not really a football fan or you're not really into sports, basically the Bengals lost to the Rams 23-20. Um, I'm not upset. You know what I'm saying? I'm not upset about what happened. Um, I was a little salty at first. Honestly, it was just like how I feel in the regular season when they lose games. I'm salty about it for a good 5-10 minutes, and then I'm just moving on. Like that's just how it is, and I guess that's from the Bengals getting trounced for so many years. But more than that, I would have to say that I'm super proud of what the Bengals did this year. Like I really am. So them taking the L in the Super Bowl, the way they took the L, I mean, it brings back some triggering memories. Like I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I remember Montana to Taylor. Like I remember that. So now we got Stafford the Cup in our brains. But this just felt completely different. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the why. First off, up in the house, we just all on some nervous energy stuff, man. Like we in the house tweaking, waiting for the game. Like the game started at 6:30. Pre-game start at noon, but they talking about it since like 9 a.m. So if you really had the urge to sit and watch television until the game started, you are literally watching from 9:30 to 6 for the game to start. Then you got to get to the national anthem and all of that. I was playing 2K. I'm having fun with the kids, because we already nervous. We got our usual spread that we had every single Sunday or Saturday, depending on what time the playoff game came on. We got the wings, we got the pizza. Then the game starts, and I got a few points about the game, and this is I discussed this a lot with the folks I was watching the game with. We in a little bit of a disagreement, but I'm just gonna tell y'all how I feel about it. Number one, this is first and foremost. The refs didn't lose the game for our squad, man. Like they really didn't. Like you gotta miss us with the whole nah, if it wasn't for the refs, we'd have had that game. And I was getting into it, was not really getting into it. We was having a discussion. And they were telling me like, LP, you gotta understand that holding call kind of shifted the entire game. It gave the Rams all types of downs to get the ball into the end zone. And I'm like, 100% true. That hold against Logan Wilson wasn't a hold at all. Like it really wasn't. And there were a couple of plays towards the end of the game where it's like, dang, the flag's coming out now. Y'all kept the flags in y'all pocket for a good 57 minutes. What's up now? And I get that and I agree with that fully. But on the flip side, we were the beneficiaries of some cool stuff. Like that touchdown that T. Higgins caught when he I would say inadvertent, but intent doesn't really matter in that case because he grabbed the face mask and basically flung Jalen Ramsey down, made it for an easy touchdown. We were the beneficiaries of that. Like had the Rams lost, I guarantee you all of the fans would be like, "Nah, y'all only won because y'all got that crazy call, and then the momentum shifted," and they would be right too. There were some calls missed. There were some messed up calls made, but that's the game. And honestly, real talk, like you play the game. You can't get mad when the game play you because that it's all in the game for real. The refs are gonna make messed up calls. You're gonna have stuff not go your way. It's really on you as a player to be able to chuck it up and be like, okay, we're gonna get that back. You can't really wallow in that and go like, oh, they really messed us up. So as a fan, I take all of that in stride. And I think for me that comes from actually coaching. Like when I got my players, I'm letting them know like, look, sports mirrors life. And in life, things are gonna happen and they're gonna be extremely unfair. And there's no rationale for it. But you got to keep it moving because nobody's going to sit here and cry for you. Nobody's going to be like, oh, we should really do it over. There's no do overs in life. And rarely are there do overs in sports. So for me, I wasn't really tripping off of the call. I mean, here's my thing about it. And here's why I was salty that the game ended and we lost. This is what I was really salty about. The Bengals had the ball with a minute 20 left and three timeouts. If you would have told me that the Bengals would have a shot to win the game down three with a minute and 20 seconds left and three timeouts, I'd be like, let's go. We got this. And if you're a Bengals fan, you don't talk like that. Like, that's not how we talk. We're doom and gloom. We're like, oh, man, they just got an interception. Well, you know what's about to happen next. Like, we're programmed for failure as a Bengals fan. Like, we wait for the moment that everything's going to come crushing down and sadness will reign upon the Bengals. Like, we wait for that moment. Like, if a team scores first, you can kind of feel the dread from everybody. That's how it used to be. But now it's like we got Joe, and we got Mixon, we got Higgins, we got Chase. We feel like we're good. We can be down 21-3, and we're like we're good. This is a foreign feeling as a Bengals fan, but we're conditioned now. Forget before. We're conditioned now to be like, oh, we got a shot. We got Burrow. We got our offense. We got a minute and 20 seconds left and three timeouts. We're at least getting a field goal. Like, you couldn't have, everybody in the house, once that happened, we were like, oh, yeah, we're going to see if we can get a touchdown. But Shooter about to get in, at least kick a field goal. We're going to OT. We were preparing for OT at least. It came down to the offensive line and some very questionable play calling. I mean, it was very questionable. The O line has been an Achilles heel all year. We all know that, but we were winning, and winning in life. When you're doing good, when things are going well, all of your problems just seem to kind of go on the back burner. You don't really worry about them. You don't really need to fix them. I kind of see it like a car. When your car is going great, you're not really worried about the fact that the AC doesn't work. You're good. I mean, what I need the AC for? It's December. Like it's whatever. And you're rolling, your tires are good, your brakes are good, the windshield's cool. We gotta replace the windshield wiper fluid every now and again because it's December. But for the most part, everything's good. But in the back of your head, you're thinking, man, I better get this fixed. Like it's gonna get warm soon. But it's so cold outside, you're like, I don't really care. And you kind of forget about it after a while. Then that first hot day pops up. It might be April around here. You never really know. It could pop up tomorrow. but either way, that first super hot day pops up. You pop on the AC and you like, damn, my AC messed up. I completely forgot. Now you rolling around with the windows down. You messing up your girl's hair because you can't roll the windows up. You look like you just went swimming because you sweating so much. Like it's super duper bad for you. That metaphor is the offensive line for the Bengals. When everything's going well, you don't think about the O line. Burrow's getting it done. Burrow's throwing long bombs to Higgins and Chase. He's catching Boyd over the middle for long gains. Mixon's running roughshod. You're not really thinking about the offensive line. And then you play the Titans. And then you play the Rams. And you start to realize this is really messed up. We really need to fix this. But it's a little bit too late in the moment. Now you got to wait till the end of the season to fix your line. We were all screaming so loud. We need to fix the line. We need to fix the line. We need to fix the line. And the thing about fixing something in the NFL is it's not an easy fix if you're not willing to spend money. And the Bengals spent some money, but not enough, as you can plainly see. And this game showed why we need a good offensive line. It was the reason why we lost the game. Third down. And a lot of people are dumping on, oh, why was Samaje P. Ryan in the game? That's ridiculous. You're supposed to get about it mixing. You got to get about your best players. True. 100% true. But at the same time, once you put Mixon in the game, everybody knows you're running the ball. And as we just discussed, the offensive line not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, if they're not pass blocking well, if they're not run blocking well, I mean, everything's turning to poop. So I get the rationale. With, I'm not really upset with the personnel that was in the game. It was the play calling for me. Your offensive line isn't doing well. So why are you not running screens? Why are you not doing stuff like that? It's like instead you're trying to force the ball through the middle of the defense, and it's not working. So third down, P Ryan gets stopped. I don't agree with the spot of the ball, but I mean it's whatever. Fourth down. It's so frustrating because Burrow had like a second and a half to throw the ball. If he would have had a little bit longer, he would have saw that Jalen Ramsey had completely fallen down and Chase was wide open down the sideline. He was so wide open it was disgusting. But you can't blame Burrow because he had no time to see him. He's running away from the rush. He had another receiver cutting across at the top, couldn't see him, getting blitzed. So, boom, dump the ball off. It's over. And like I said, the messed up part is like you looking and you're like, wow, there's no time on the clock. Wait a minute. We're supposed to be driving for at least a field goal. And it didn't happen. That to me was the more crushing thing. Like you're watching time go out and you're like, no miracle comeback? Seriously? Like we're conditioned for the miracle comeback at this point. We're like, it's going to happen. And it didn't. The play calling was questionable. It reminded me of the game against San Francisco where Zach Taylor, for some reason, just completely took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. In this one, there were five straight drives at the end of the game where the Bengals didn't score a point. Had they scored on any of those, game over. We celebrating. And then my episode title has an exclamation point instead of a period. But I don't blame the refs. I blame the Rams for major adjustments they did in the second half, and they got it done. Their defense got it done. Their offense did just enough, and their defense got it done. And we had some bad luck. Tyler Boyd dropped the ball, and he hadn't dropped the ball since 2020. Like the Rams got a little lucky, and to be a champion, you got to be really really good. You got to be a little bit lucky. I mean, you do. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can't rely on sheer talent to just bust everybody up. You got to be a little bit lucky. Both of these teams have been a little lucky throughout the entire postseason, and the Rams got a little lucky on Sunday. And you got to give it to them, like 100%. I feel like this is a game that the Rams won. I won't say that the Bengals lost it. They just made some bad mistakes that young teams make because we're dealing with a really young team, and I feel like this is the beginning. I don't feel like, man, we missed our shot. I feel like this is the beginning of something really special. Now, it's hard to get back to the Super Bowl. So I hope everybody enjoyed the ride that it took to get here. Like, my wife made sure she recorded all of the games on television. Well, after they won, of course, she made sure she hit the record button because who wants to record a loss? But it's been a really wonderful ride. Winning the first playoff game in 30 some years, winning your first road playoff game ever in the history of the franchise, beating the Chiefs for the second time in a month to make it to the Super Bowl, coming this close to winning the Super Bowl. It's important that fans remember the journey to get here because I think in life, what a lot of people do is they don't stop to recognize how far they've come. I've been guilty of that a lot. I think developing this podcast kind of helped me to stop and understand the stuff that's going on around me and appreciate it. Because I wasn't doing that before. You gotta get to work, you gotta get home, you gotta cook, you gotta make sure everybody's straight, you go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again. But, you know, to understand what you've done, to kind of like take a step back and go like, dang, look at where I was when I was 18. Like, look at how hard it was for us when we were like 24, 25, as a family, trying to make it, scuffling, trying to get stuff together. And then look at us now, look how comfortable everybody is, just kind of stopping and understanding that, as a Bengals fan, it's been rough out here. Even when the Bengals have been good, it stops first round of the playoffs. We didn't even want to see a prime time game because we was always losing when the whole country was watching. And now everything feels different. We're not looking at the schedule for next year and going like, dang, this is a hard schedule. I don't know. We're looking now and going like, okay, this is a tough schedule, but we got the team to beat a lot of these teams. Like people are looking at the Bengals on their schedule and going like, oh, we got a tough one. And that's refreshing. So enjoy what happened. Um, don't try to stress too much about the last quarter of the Super Bowl because it was super messed up. But as a Bengals fan, you gotta look at the whole picture. This was the team that was 7-6, and on the outside looking into the playoffs. To go from that to this, an amazing thing. It really is. But I gotta say, what was dude thinking running out on the field and just celebrating in like the gray cutoff hoodie and the shorts? I I real life thought that a fan snuck onto the field and I was worried about their safety. Like I'm like, and then I was worried about the fan safety. I'm like, dang, dude about to get trucked. And then I was looking like, that's one of our inactive players. He got the Bengals hoodie. I'm like, wow. Like he pulled a real live little mama moment. Like wifey said that she was like, "Dang, he look like little mama out there." I'm like, "Wow, he really do." Like, little mama just busted out on stage with Alicia Keys and Jay Z singing New York. She was like, "I got caught in my feelings." I'm like, "Wow." Dude got caught in his feelings and wanted to celebrate. Cost us 10 yards. Messed us up because we couldn't get a drive going to get a field goal. So, I mean, low key it was, I won't say it's a big moment, but it's like I've been saying all year. Sports and life, they are exactly the same thing. All of those little moments, all of those little pieces of the puzzle, you put them together, they develop what happened in the game. You know, that's what this was. Tyler Boyd dropping a pass, not a big deal in the short term. Dude running out on the field, not a big deal in the short term. But when you put all of those pieces of the puzzle together, they all contribute to what happened. And I always say this: it's never one play that loses or wins a game. It's those plays put together to make up the result of the game. So when we say every play counts, like every play counts, because in life, people act like, what you do doesn't matter. This doesn't matter here. This doesn't matter there. When you put all of those moments together, all of that stuff matters. So you just got to watch the small mistakes because small mistakes come into big mistakes. And dude just running out on the field like, Fernando Hargraves, what are you doing? Like, and real talk, you probably got caught up in the moment. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. Everybody's sitting here going like, man, I would never do that. You watching the team that you've been hustling with all year in the Super Bowl, somebody gets a big pick to stop a drive. I mean, you might lose it a little bit. So it was just funny watching them out there. I'm like, dude, they gonna paint you to the bench for the rest of the game. Like, wow. My last point is about the haters. Now, I gotta preface this by saying this: most fan bases respectful. Like I come across so many people on Twitter, and they like, yeah, your squad beat us in the playoffs. That was good stuff. They got a little lucky, but good win. We'll see what y'all do next round. And I'm like, that's love right there. They salty that their team lost, but they're not like outwardly hating. It's like, my team lost to yours. Good work. We'll see y'all again. I respect that. Then you got fans out here that's just praying for your downfall. And it's like, I can see the Ravens thinking like that. Like, if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, I'm not rooting for the Ravens to win. If the Steelers make it to the Super Bowl, I'm not rooting for the Steelers to win. I want the other team to crush them. Win by 100.5 if you have to. Now, the Browns fans, that's a little different. Like, half of my family is in Cleveland. I spent many a summer in Cleveland, on St. Clair, on Kinsman. Like, so I'm cool with Cleveland. Cleveland wins the Super Bowl. I'm not about to be happy about it. But you won't see me on Twitter going like, man, this trash. Like, I respect Cleveland. We're kind of cut from the same cloth football wise, like a whole lot of misery, and now we're seeing some success. So we're kind of cut from the same cloth. But it's a now it's just a few Titans fans. I won't say it's a lot of Titans fans. It's a couple of Titans fans out there that's been like real live hate. Like, dude, we beat you in a playoff game. Like, we not rivals with you. We got some Chiefs fans that's gritty. They out there like, man, y'all got lucky. Really? We got lucky twice, two times, and we won the exact same way. I could see if it was just once. But we beat the Chiefs two times in the exact same fashion. I don't know if you can call that luck if it happened twice in a 1 month span. What I would say to the Bengals fans out there, y'all gotta embrace the haters. You gotta understand that the better you do, the more haters you will attract. It's it's a scientific fact. Like being a winner is like being a magnet, and all of the hate just starts to stick to you. Like I realize I tell my kids this. Like you got to understand that the more successful you are, the more people will not like you simply because you're successful. It's a very weird phenomenon. But just look through sports history. The Warriors were the darlings of the NBA until they started winning consistently. Then it was like, man, I hate the Warriors. Man, I can't stand to hold somebody beat them. The Patriots, when they won their first Super Bowl, I would say their first two Super Bowls, it was like, man, the Patriots, man, they're gonna be the new dynasty. Then after a while, man, I hate the Patriots. Man, I can't stand them. They, is it somebody else's time to win? Dang, man, I can't stand this. Being a winner means attracting hate. So as a Bengals fan, you just gotta understand that this is how it's gonna be if you're successful. So Bengals fans, embrace the hate, chuckle at the hate because it means one thing: you're successful. Cat Williams said it best. Like you should want more haters. It means you're successful. If you got 20 haters, you should do your best to get 40 haters. like like if anybody needs to be a hater, please come see me. That's really how it is. So embrace that hate. I would say life wise. Like if you got a hater, buy some flowers. Like, get them some candy, get them some shoes. Like just let them know, I appreciate your hatred. It really motivates me to do what I do in my life. So thank you. And if you got some friends that are haters, please let me know. They can fill out a application and they can roll with us. Sounds good. Hey man, you got a Sissy fan talking with LP. We'll be right back.
Hi, hi. I'm Princess and I'm Queen. This is Daddy.
You have to say, and this is a Cincy fan talking with LP.
And this is a sensitive fan talking with LP Daddy.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back. You got a Cincy fan talking with LP, and of course, this is LP. We're gonna jump into a review. I'm gonna take some shows and basically tell you if you should stream them or not, or if you should watch them on TV or not. I'm gonna start this podcast with a review on Bel Air. If you haven't heard, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air got a quote unquote reboot, and they made it a little bit different. There was a trailer that got released a while ago, about a year and a half ago, and that trailer was the basis of this new iteration of Bel Air. Um, this recommendation is going to be weird. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there right now because you might think that I absolutely hate this show when you hear this review. And it's not like that. I'll just go ahead and jump into it. Here's the recommendation. I'm going to do the recommendation first and then tell you why. As long as you can get The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the sitcom, completely out of your mind, if you can scrub that out your mind before you watch this, you are going to like this show. So for people out there, you haven't really seen a lot of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, maybe you caught an episode or two, or maybe you just haven't watched it at all. You're going to jump into this and you're going to be like, man, this is a pretty good show. Like the acting is solid. And it is. The acting is really good. The guy that plays Will is extremely good. The supporting cast is solid. You're gonna like this show if you're not a Fresh Prince of Bel Air diehard, if you haven't seen all the episodes. This house doesn't fall into that category. We fall into we've seen every episode so much to the point where we know all the lines. We were watching this Bel Air and we knew who the characters were immediately. They didn't even have to tell us. Like we pretty much picked up on who was who. Therein lies the problem. You watch The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and you kind of understand what it is. The characters kind of took a while to develop. They developed into their own. Everybody kind of had their little set, and it's a sitcom. It felt like a sitcom. And more than anything, what The Fresh Prince of Bel Air did is on par with what The Office did. They were really good at giving you the humor and kind of hitting you with the humor. And right when you think it's all comedy, there are moments in the show where they're just profoundly deep. You know, the one where Carlton gets shot, the one where Will gets disappointed by his dad. Even in the first season, where when Will and Carlton get arrested for driving too slow in a neighborhood, you know, they were delving into issues of racism and you know um, gender issues. You know, they were really cutting edge on those, and it was humorous. Bel Air is set up to be these same characters, but they're completely reimagined. And you kind of look at it, and your first thought is, why? Like, why would you do that? And then you try to give it a chance, and the more you give it a chance, the more you're looking like, this is a very dark iteration of Bel Air. And it is. It's disturbingly dark at some points. When you look at the characters that you knew and you see these characters doing things, and you go like, wow. it's it's just dark, and it made it to where this was a pretty difficult review for me because it's not a show that I hate. Like I don't hate this show, but when I think about what the Fresh Prince was, and I think about what Bel Air is, it just doesn't seem to match. And maybe it's not supposed to match, but if it's not supposed to match, then why do they all have the same names? And why do they all pretty much have the same roles? And I think that's the thing for me. If you're gonna do something like this, then maybe they should have made it loosely based off of this. That way they could kind of do their thing. Because I noticed that the reboots like this that work the best are usually books. Because in books, we have to develop the picture in our heads ourselves. Like, there have been like 8 or 9 John Grisham novels that got made for movies, and they work because you have a picture in your head of what's happening as you read text. Once you see it on a screen, it could look different, but everybody has a different thought of what it is because it's what you think in your brain. When you're rebooting something like The Fresh Prince, there's nothing left to the imagination because we know what they look like. We know how they're supposed to act. And then in one fell swoop, you're telling us that they're different, that they do this. And I'm trying not to get spoilers, so I won't. But now you're telling me that some of the characters are doing things that they would never do when I see the sitcom. And maybe it's more about opening your mind, but maybe it's more like there are certain things that shouldn't be touched. And I kind of feel like this goes in that regard. And also because it doesn't look like they're breaking any new ground. They're telling a lot of the same stories that were told in the sitcom, but they're just dark. And that's the part that kind of makes me go like, wow, is this really necessary? Because, and I'm only 2 episodes in, about to watch the third, but what I'm hoping is that they break new ground and they don't just give us the same soup reheated, because we don't want that. If you're watching this, you want, if they're gonna go like, okay, this is different, it's a different imagination, go all out. Don't take the same stories that we saw on the sitcom and bring them over to the new imagining and just switch it so that it's super sad or super dark. Because unlike the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, where you could take the sitcom and kind of give us a release from all the deep stuff about kind of moving to a B story that's kind of like light or happy or something like that. you don't have that comfort with this. You can't really do that because it's not a comedy. So there aren't really many of those moments where you can go like, okay, this is getting a little too heavy, so I can shift over here and we can follow Ashley for a second or something like that. It's not like that. So if they're gonna do this, they have to completely throw out the sitcom playbook and they have to talk about new stories and new experiences. I don't want to watch this show and go like, "Oh yeah, this is that episode where, you know, or this is that episode where." I don't want to do that. I want this to feel like a new show. But if you're just going to make it a reboot and talk about all the old stuff with a dark twist, then what's really the point? Like why even do it? So, I would say if you're a fan of the show, like if you're a super duper Fresh Prince fan, you've seen every single episode and you know all the characters, even the side characters. If that's you, you might want to pass on this. Like you might want to go like, I don't know. Me, I kind of put this in a class of All American or Riverdale or something like that. That's what it kind of feels like. It feels like that kind of drama. But if you haven't seen a lot of Fresh Prince, you are going to love this. All right, like this is gonna kind of go like, hey, this is pretty good. If you're like a diehard Fresh Prince of Bel Air fan, you might watch this and go like, why is this necessary? That was my wife's thought. She was kind of like, why are they even doing this? Like, what's the point? And I'm gonna give it another few episodes before I kind of give my full watch it or don't watch it verdict. All right, so you can kind of stick with me on that part. But I'm I'm leaning towards the don't stream it camp. But there's some things that happen in the second episode that kind of caught my attention, and it made me want to keep watching. All right, so I did that with no spoilers. You can stream it right now on Peacock, I think. So if you have Peacock, go ahead and do it. If you don't, get the trial, watch a couple episodes, see how you feel. Um, T-Mobile been putting us on lately where I got a whole lot of these streaming services for free for like the next year or something like that. So I'm gonna definitely take advantage of that. Um, Catch some more stuff for y'all and let you know if you should stream it or not. Um, yep, I'm about to go ahead and roll out of here. Um, Make sure you catch the show. You can hear all the dates and times on the next spot. Who Dey, even though we took the L, it's still Who Dey. Embrace the haters, y'all. And as always, life is good. Peace out. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's the Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.